Well, I am a romance author. I live right here in beautiful Los Angeles. I've been published, my first book was published in 2006, but I've been reading romance since I was in high school. Do you have high school okay, I didn't know what the equivalents were in Australia. I know that you went to something that was like high school, but I've been writing since I was a little kid. So romance was a pretty natural extension of that for me. That's out right now is called Sweet Revenge, and it's from St. Martin's Press. It is a Victorian historical, very gritty and sexy. If you're familiar, I don't know, with the American television series like Leverage or Burn Notice, do you guys get those over there? Or also the original old school television show, The A-Team.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like that except in Victorian England. So Nemesis Unlimited, which is the name of the group, it's a new series. They help the helpless. So in Victorian England, which is a very highly stratified society, there's a lot of people who can't get justice for themselves, or they're exploited by, the man, quote unquote. And Nemesis Unlimited is a group that works secretly to get justice for these people. So this is the first book in the series, and it just recently came out. And the book opens, not much of a spoiler, with the hero breaking out of prison. So it's a lot of fun. Like I said, very dark, sexy, gritty, Victorian. So that's one of my books. The other book I have out right now is this one called Skies of Gold. It's available print on demand or as a digital book. And the digital book is very reasonably priced. But anyway, it's the last book in my Ether Chronicles Steampunk series, which I've been co-writing with my husband, Nico Rosso. He and I have switched off books, and this is the final book in this series. And it's got a very great gothic kind of dark feel. It's steampunk because the hero, he's enhanced by technology. He's called a man of war, so it makes him bigger, faster, stronger. He's like the $1 million man, is that? Yeah, or like £1 million man, if you will. But he makes him capable of flying and powering airships. So there's that component, but it's a very emotional story between these two very damaged people who find themselves in an isolated place and have to kind of learn to come to heal and trust not only each other but themselves on their path to redemption. So that's Skies of Gold. The climate is phenomenal. You can't really beat it. We just had a really bad heat wave, but for the most part, we get sunshine probably like 320 days out of the year or something like that. So, but the downside to that is that you always feel like you have to go out and do something, so it makes it hard to write because you're like, oh, it's so beautiful out, I should be doing something other than writing. But I guess once you get acclimated to the fact that it's really beautiful, then you have no choice but to go to Starbucks and get your writing done. Let's see, that's a good question. I really like, there's a canyon, there's some really nice hiking in and around Los Angeles because it's kind of set around a bunch of mountains, in the basin of a bunch of mountains, and there's a really nice canyon that's off of the beach that my husband and I like to go hiking, and we hike there a lot. And plot, because it's easier to do our plotting when we're like moving around on our feet. So this place is called Temescal Canyon, and if you see me and my husband kind of walking around like scowling at the ground, it's not because we're having a fight, it's because we're plotting something out instead of, but it's nice to be sort of out in nature. And there really is nature here in Los Angeles, which you just have to look for it. There's so many places I want to visit. I've written about lots of different exotic locations like Mongolia, in Warrior in Greece, which is in Scoundrel. I would love to go to both of those places. I would love to go to Japan. I would love to go to Australia and New Zealand. One place that I visited very briefly and would love to return to again is Norway. It's gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And my husband and I have in our minds we would love to take a trip to Belgium and France, or we tour breweries and chocolatiers. So it would be a beer and chocolate tour. Obviously, we would have to throw any ideas of dietary restrictions aside, but that's something that we, I love travel, so it's something I think about a lot. Obviously, something to read, at least one book, because if I'm traveling without a book, something is horribly awry. But I always feel like they're so handy if you're lying on the beach, or if you're just relaxing, or you're traveling on an airplane or train or car or something like that. It's great to read. What else do I need to take with me? Boots, always boots. They're comfortable, but they're also good because if you need to run around or kick ass, you never know what kind of villainy you're going to encounter when you're on holiday. Stumble across some kind of dangerous plot. So boots are handy. I like to take snacks because you never know when your next meal is going to be. And my husband and I, at breakfast, we're talking about what are we going to do about lunch, and at lunch we're talking about what we're going to do about dinner. And if there's some kind of gap between the two and we don't know what we're going to do, then we both get hungry and cranky. So snacks are really important. What else? The fourth thing to take with you, well, music is always really handy. And I also like to take a crossword puzzle book with me because those are fun to do, and I can't figure out how to do Sudoku. But I know words, not numbers so much. Some of my favorite romance authors include Julianne Long. I think she's phenomenal. Tessa Dare, really very good. Meredith Duran, Sherry Thomas. I'm sure I'm going to Shanna Abbey. Mostly historical authors are some of my favorites. I would say I would take Cressley Cole with me, but I would wind up ignoring all of my actual planned holiday activities just to sit and read her book, and it would probably take me, and I would tear through it, so I would be lugging a book around with me the whole time that I had finished within the first day of my vacation. A change of scenery is always great, but also I get lots of inspiration whenever I travel, so it's really great for me to sort of see new places, and I try to incorporate those places into my writing, or at least I'll pick up tidbits of history or something like that really fascinate me, and they'll find their way wheedling into the things that I'm writing, including the book that I'm working on right now. There's part of it that's set in Paris, where I've been, and also part that's set in Italy, and places that I've been to in Italy specifically. If I can't get to a place, I research the heck out of it, but getting there is obviously my preference. Sleeping in your own bed is always great, and I do miss my cats. So it's always great to see them again, even if they don't seem to really care that I've been away. I miss them.
Thanks very much for joining us, Zoe.
Well, thank you very much, and we're glad to have you here in our lovely country.
Thank you.